Hello everyone, I am Adit Dwivedi. I am a third year BA LLB student at National University of Study and Research in Law, Ranchi. Presently, I am interning at KPS Advocates. Today, in this KPS की कानून की कक्षा, an initiative of KPS Advocates, we are going to do a comparative study of right to private defense as given under Indian Penal Code 1860 and the newly introduced Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023 to understand the concept of right to private defense and the changes which have been brought into it by the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. In this presentation, these are the topics which we are going to cover. Introduction, meaning of private defense under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, private defense under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and comparison with Indian Penal Code, and some key points to remember with regards to right to private defense. Introduction. Private defense, also known as self-defense, is a legal concept outlined in the Indian Penal Code of 1860. This provision grants individuals the right to defend themselves, their property, and others against illegal attacks. Recently, the Indian Parliament enacted the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, which is set to replace the Indian Penal Code 1860. While the BNS maintains many of IPC's provisions, it also introduces several amendments to the existing laws. In this presentation, we will explore the meaning, scope and limitation of private defense as outlined in the BNS. Following this, we will analyze the changes made in comparison to the IBC. Meaning of private defense under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Under section 34 to 44 of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, private defense is recognized as an inherent right of individuals to protect themselves, their property and others from unlawful aggression and attacks. This right allows individuals to defend themselves against imminent threat or assault, whether from any other person or an animal, using a reasonable and proportionate amount of force. However, it is crucial to note that the right to private defense or self-defense is not absolute. It depends on the presence of a genuine fear of harm. This right is subject to certain limitations, including the necessity to act in good faith and to ensure that the defensive force used is proportionate to the threat. Additionally, the principle of private defense aims to protect individual safety and maintain social order and justice within the legal framework. Comparative analysis. Under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Chapter 3 deals with right to private defense, whereas under Indian Penal Code, Chapter 4 deals with it. Section 34 to 44 under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita talks about right to private defense, whereas Section 96 to Section 106 under Indian Penal Code deals with it. Right to private defense of body and of property. Section 34 says that nothing is an offense which is done in the exercise of the right of private defense. Section 35 says that every person has a right subject to the restriction contained in Section 37 to defend a. his own body and the body of any other person against any offense affecting the human body, b. the property whether movable or immovable or himself or any other person against any act which is an offense falling under the definition of theft, robbery, mischief or criminal trespass, or which is an attempt to commit theft, robbery, mischief or criminal trespass. There is no changes under section 35 and its corresponding section 97 under Indian Penal Code. Commencement. Section 40 deals under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita deals with the commencement of aspect of right to private defense. It says that the right of private defense of body commences as soon as a reasonable apprehension of danger to the body arises from an attempt or threat to commit the offense, though the offense may not have been committed, and it continues as long as such apprehension of danger or to the body continues. In it also, there is no changes with its corresponding section under Indian Penal Code, section 102. Commencement and continuance of right to private defense of property. Section 43 talks about private defense of property. It says under subsection A that it commences when a reasonable apprehension of danger to the property commences. B. Against theft continues till the offender has effected his retreat with the property, or either the assistance of a public authorities is obtained or the property has been recovered. C. Against robbery continues as long as the offender causes or attempts to cause to any person death or hurt or wrongful restraint, or as long as the fear of instant death or of instant hurt or of instant personal restraint continues. D. Against criminal trespass or mischief continues as long as the offender continues in the commission of criminal trespass or mischief. E. Against housebreaking after sunset and before sunrise continues as long as the house trespass which has been begun by such housebreaking continues. Therein also there is a no changes with his corresponding section, section 105 if of Indian Penal Code. Indian Penal Code. Only there are some changes with regard to language. Other than that, in essence, section 43 he carries the same effect with that has been given under section 105 of Indian Penal Code, and introduce no such significant changes in it. Limitation. Section 37 talks about what are the limitation of right to private defense. It under clause A of subsection 1 it says, against an act which does not reasonably causes the apprehension of death or of grievous hurt if done or attempted to be done by a public servant acting in good faith under color of his office, though that act may not be strictly justifiable by law. B. Against an act which does not reasonably cause the apprehension of death or of grievous hurt if done or attempted to be done by the direction of a public servant acting in good faith under color of his office, though that direction may not be strictly justifiable by law. C. In cases in which there is a time to have recourse to the protection of public authorities. Subsection B says, subsection 2 says, the right of private defense is no case extend to the inflicting of harm more than than it is necessary to inflict for the purpose of defense. There is some changes in it in comparison to its corresponding section under Indian Penal Code section 99 with regards to code number only. There are other sections also other than those primary sections which we have already dealt with. These sections are section 36 under the BNS, which talks about the right to private defense against the act of a person of unsound mind, etc. Section 38 it deals with the extent of right to private defense. Section 39 it deals with the scenario when such right extend to causing any harm other than that. Section 41 it deals with a situation when the right of private defense of property extend to causing death. Section 42 it deals with the situation when such right extend to causing any harm other than death. Section 44 it deals with the right of private defense against deadly assault when there is a risk of harm to innocent person. All these sections are pari materia to their corresponding section. Section 98, section 100, 100, section 101, section 103 E of Indian Penal Code 1860. There are some key points which we need to take into consideration. While the BNS grants the right of private defense, it is crucial to recognize its limitation and conditions such as imminent threat. Primarily, the concept of imminent threat is crucial, establishing that the right to private defense is valid only when an immediate threat exists. If there is no threat, a mere assumption of threat, or if the threat has already passed, this provision cannot be invoked. Proportionate force. Secondly, the force used in self-defense must be proportionate to the threat encountered. Using excessive force may result in legal consequences. Judgment of a reasonable person. Action taken in private defense should align with with what a reasonable person would do under similar circumstances. No right to seek revenge. The right of private defense serves as a defensive action against an imminent attack, and it is not a justification for a retaliation. Thank you.